Good day, friends. I hope you're doing really well. And if you're anything like me, maybe you've gone through periods in your recovery or just your non-diet journey, where you feel kind of just exhausted, maybe kind of beat down, maybe a little hopeless. So today's video is really just about kind of like taking all the pieces and all the feelings and really starting to try to understand what is going on that I are feel that is making me feel like things are too much. So this is gonna be a couple video series. I'm not sure how many yet because it's a pretty in-depth topic, but we're gonna talk about some right here and now, honestly, activities you can do if you're feeling like I'm just tired. I've had a lot of people tell me use the word motivation. I tend to not use that word because we can't really always rely on motivation to maybe take care of our health or do recovery oriented things or whatever, because sometimes our feelings aren't always based on our here and now self. Sometimes they're really based in something old and something that's not, it feels familiar, but it's not exactly happening anymore. So I'll give you an example of what that means. Is sometimes we think let's say I feel really I've been working on this forever and I don't know when this is going to get better, and I tend to not be somebody who follows through with anything. So again, you hear a lot of word cursing in there, right? And a lot of dorsal. And those of you who watch these videos know that I speak in a lot of neuroscience terms because I think it's important to take the shame out of we all get in fight, flight, freeze, or please. And we need to take the shame out of that. So if you're in a place where it's I'm feeling pretty kind of freezy, kind of blah, kind of numb, what's the point with some things? And I feel like I've been working on this forever and I don't follow through with things. I've been hearing this term a lot. And I'll say, well, wait a minute, let's stop. I'd like for and this is something you can do right now for yourself, and I'll give you a couple other tips here in a second. But if you're feeling that way, it's wait a minute, take your here and now self and be a witness to wait a minute, I have some parts of my life that I actually do follow through. I'm watching this video, for example, and that's the show of I've still got hunger in here to have some freedom. Maybe you're showing up to work. Maybe you're brushing your teeth. There's some places that you actually do follow through. It's just in this one area, there are some barriers that you've tried to do it the cultural diet way, let's say, or the black or white thinking kind of way, or whatever, and it just wasn't sustainable because it didn't match maybe your body rhythms, it didn't match your values, whatever it was. So it isn't going to stick. And I think that's really important because the hopelessness comes from trying to provide some safety in a strategy kind of way that doesn't match what you actually need or even want. It's just that's maybe something you tried 10 years ago or 30 years ago and you just have a really worn neural pathway for it. So we tend to try to, our brains do efficiency, right? So it's if you can, again, separate yourself and glue from oh, that's just that well-worn neural pathway that when I tell myself that I'm going to buy groceries every Thursday and I don't, I start to have this critical voice harassing me about see, you never follow through what you're going to say you're going to do. Well, it could be a now time that we haven't explored enough and more deeply any kind of barriers to doing that. So you see yourself as a failure versus I just don't try hard enough. I don't have enough motivation. It's very critical. And basically I just rebuke those critical voices. I don't say that we kick them in the teeth. I just say, there's that critical part that likes to tell you that you don't do anything right, that you can't get this right. How familiar is that? And in now time, sitting here with, maybe you're sitting with yourself, or maybe I'm sitting with you, and I'm I actually experience a lot that you do that's very supportive for your health, your becoming, your relationships, your whatever. I see that you're doing a lot right. So that's one thing you can try today is try to create a witness to the part and separate yourself from that I never do anything right. And that's because that leads to a lot of just feeling down basically. Another thing you can do is start to get into, maybe try some new stuff. Like a lot of people who've been in their homes just way too long, maybe you really need some support with getting out. And I think it's important to get out there and do some honestly pleasurable things that are or engaging or kinesthetic. And that could be, you know, rearrange your furniture. It could be getting a porch swing finally that you've always wanted. It could be getting back in the pool. It could be getting back to your art. And you don't always have to feel like it, but it's more about I want to reconnect with some juice, some life. And when we're down and kind of dorsal and nothing's going right and everything's too big, and you know, even look at the non-diet world, it's, you know, there's a lot of stuff, whether it's from the academy or from just, you know, all these really, really difficult growing pains. You know, it's it can be a lot. And if you're sensitive like me, and I think a lot of you are, that we tend to take in all that and personalize it and look for where we're doing it wrong. And it's not bad to be self, I mean, I guess self-monitoring. It's not bad, but it's like if we're overly taking responsibility, then we know that this is old stuff too. So it's really important, like, hey, let's do some different stuff. Like actually engage in things that like breathe life and speak life, and recognize that wherever you're at in your recovery doesn't define you. It's not your identity. You're like a, you know, binge eating or any kind of eating disorder isn't an identity. It's a defensive strategy. If you find yourself just being triggered by anything, that's a part in us that has had to deal with maybe similar things, and we want to like really be able to observe it, honestly, to truly know in now time where we stand and all the nuances. Because if we don't, we do get dragged down, and then it's hard to do the basics, like again, like get up, drink our water, do our mechanical eating if we have to do it that way, do our intuitive eating. But remember, it's hard to do, like, when I say intuitive eating, all I mean by that term at this point in this world is like, you can mostly tell when you're hungry, you can mostly tell when you're full, and mostly eat based on those signals. And then when it's a little fuzzy, you take more time to try to like notice more and get some more nuance, or you're just like, you know, it just makes sense, I probably need to eat, and what sounds the best, that's fine too. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I do want to do a part 2, and we're going to talk a little bit, actually more deeply, about when we're in this kind of shutdown and what that might be a sign of, that, you know, maybe you're doing everything you could be doing. I'll be honest, so many clients come to me like, I feel like I'm doing all the things. I'm watching all the podcasts, reading all the books, all that. I'm doing everything. But then we kind of look and we see like there's so much sometimes like getting triggered and tripped up by things in now time that remind us of things in memory time, that, yeah, we're just getting hijacked. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about the hijacking that we can misinterpret as like failure, when really it's like, no, you just got slimed. You got slimed by sensations and emotions that made you feel in threat. And some people's systems collapse, and it's hard then to reach for what would be good. So, or what you know that works, or what you know that like matches your values, or whatever it is. So I hope this video was helpful. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. And thank you everyone who came live today. I so appreciate you. I know if you're watching this live, it's a very weird time of day. It's just when it worked out. But I've had this topic on my heart for a couple of days, actually longer. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But I'm really, really excited to bring this to you. And if anybody here is feeling this way, like, oh, like, I know I need to reach out for more support, or I know that like probably a change of scenery would do me good, but even making the reservation to do that or making the appointment to do that feels like a lot. Notice that. Oh my goodness, wow, that's doing even something that would be good for me feels like too much. We really need to break it down further as to where the hesitance is. And so I hope this video helped you kind of see that and explore that if that's what you're struggling with. And lastly, if you have something that, you know, like I am just having trouble accessing XYZ, I don't know what I need, it feels too hard, I don't know what I want to reach for, or I'm overreaching, it feels too hard, I don't know how to get satisfied, it feels too hard, please put it down in the comments below. Like, give us a little bit of example if you would. And I would be really, really happy to process that more with you, you know, in the best of my ability, because I'm not seeing maybe any of you personally one-on-one, but it's like, I want to help you the most I can. So thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, share with anybody else who needs some more nuance or just needs some encouragement or some validation that, like, feeling tired happens to the best of us. I think it's happened to a lot of us, and it's really important to, like, take a step back and look at what in us is saying that we're too much, or it's too much, or we're doing it wrong. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.